Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric, this is Horus Works, and today we're doing coils plugs on the Falcon U. Now, I'm not going to dilly-dally around. It's a freezing day here. I've got my disposable gloves ready to go. I'm going to lift that bonnet and get going. So let's go. So here we are, Barra engine. This is the area we'll be working in. The spark plugs are located underneath here. If you've got a gas car like I do, we're going to need to get this hose out of the way. I'm also going to lift this off. So let's start there. First and foremost, let's get some gloves on because you only have two hands, so protect them. All right, I'm going to start by taking this hose away, and there's a clip just over here. So let's lift this out of the way. Seems to be some sort of breather hose arrangement for the gas system, but I'll just tuck that there. The oil cap needs to come off. Next, what I'm going to do is remove this pipe work, and I'm pretty sure that's a 10 mil, and that looks like an 8. Nope, not an 8. 7. So 7's what you want here. All right, let's get these two 10 mils undone. 2. So just watch this little hose over here. I'm going to remove this PCV valve and move this out of the way. So underneath here are where all the coils and the plugs are. And you're going to want a 5 mil. So I'm going to get all of these undone. So once you've got most of these removed, there is one more, and it's a little bit of a tricky one, and it's the one back here. Can you see that? Get this out of the way. There we go. And now we've got to reach in there, swap to an Allen key. Try not to drop your Allen key. I'm not gonna lie, this bolt could be more fun. Gotcha. Okie dokie, so now that the cover is off, we've got good access to all the coils over here. So just take a good look at everything, make sure everything's in order. For me, I spotted a leak. As you can see, my PCV valve and the back here is leaking. So usually this goes on like so. But yeah, look how loose. That's super loose. So it looks like oil is coming out of there. So yeah, I'm going to need PCV valves, okay, but I will need a new grommet by the looks of things, just to stop oil from seeping out over there and pulling at the back of the engine there. But that's a problem for another day. Let's get back to this. So these are the coils, and on top of each coil you might notice one of these. Now that's stuck on there, but really these rubber grommets, what they do is they push down on the coils to help them stay on the spark plugs, and actually where they go is not there. They go on the underside of these and they plug in just like so. So if you've got these things on top of your coil, they just peel off like that and they go back in here. I'm going to take all of these other ones off, pop them back in, and now we're ready to get these out. So they come out like that, and then they unplug here. So I'm going to do that to all of them. And of course, this might happen. This rubber boot has come away, and the rest of it is still stuck in there. But not to worry, just unplug it. Work your way around with a screwdriver or a pick. And there it goes. So as you can see, things kind of crowded up around here. So as soon as you loosen that, should be all right. All right, I'm just gonna do the rest. So there we go, I've got all of the coils out and everything looks all right here. Looks like number 3 got a little bit of water in there at some point. This was the one that came out in 2 bits, but you can actually press them back together. And the other thing you might notice is this gasket around here. Now this gasket is actually supposed to be on here, like that. So yeah, just press that back in. Okie dokie, so at this point you're ready to pull the plugs out, but before you do, I'm just going to do a little bit of a cleanup here so that when I pull the plugs out, all this dirt doesn't fall into the cylinder wells. It's 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we do have a little bit of rustiness forming around there. So yeah, that was a bit worrying. Hopefully that plug will come out okay. What I'm going to do, just going to take some penetrating fluid and let this soak a little bit. Let's give a little bit to all of them. I'm going to let that rest and then blow it out before I try to undo the plugs. Okay, I think those plugs have soaked long enough, so take a socket for a spark plug, and what you want is the 5/8. Couple of longer extensions, get it to sit on there and twist. Yeah, and that feels fine. That's coming out all right. Let's try this first one. Yeah, that's okay too. Now let's see if this third one moves. So this one was the rusty one. Please move. And sure enough, it's in there tight. Yeah, it's in there tight. Let's see what the next one's like. Oh, that's tight too. Oh, there it goes. So that one's moving, sort of. That's not budging at all. Okay, that's a little bit worrying. Now, do I risk putting a lot of pressure on this and potentially breaking either the threads or the actual spark plug into the spark plug well? That would be a bad day. I'm gonna hit it with some more penetrant fluid, and this time I'm gonna let it sit for a few hours. So I'll see you in a few hours. All right, it's been about an hour and a half here, and I'm just gonna go for it. Let's see what happens. So looking down the spark plug holes, looks like most of the WD-40 is still there. I'm just gonna blow some of this out. Yeah, still got that rusty residue in there. All right, come on, baby. Just get out. Just won't move. That's a problem. Okay, something moved. Please let it be the spark plug and not the threads in the block. Well, it's moving now, but to a degree. All right, well, the plug is still intact. Let's keep going. One trick I learned is if you're winding this way and it gets stuck, go back a little bit and then start winding again. Usually it helps. Just so you know, this isn't feeling good coming out at all. But it's almost there now. And it's getting better. There it goes. All right. Right, let's see what we've got. Look at that. That's the WD-40. Looks like the threads themselves were okay on the block. There is a fair bit of corrosion on this end and on this end. Okay, I've already taken one out, but that's that one. Let's see how the others go. That's how a spark plug should come out. Yeah, look at that, nice and easy. You got to do a little bit of gymnastics with this last one. There we go. So yeah, for the last one to reach in, I've got one of these knuckles on the actual socket. Okay, so here are all of my plugs as well as my ignition coils. So as you can see, at some point water definitely got into this one, and it kind of sat there for a while by the looks of things and started fusing this washer to the block. But comment below and let me know, is there a reason why there was water sitting in here? Where did the water come from? That was a weird one. But in any case, the rest of the plugs actually look quite okay. There is a bit of moisture on these. I'm pretty sure that's just a WD-40. The electrodes themselves are looking okay. But in any case, it's time to put these new plugs in. That's the part number you want for these inline 6 LPG engines. Your turbo V8 engines might be different. So these need to be gapped to 1.1 millimeters. Got a little gapping tool here, and I'm just going to check it. Yeah, this is more like 0.7. So let's just check the others. Yeah, that is also 0.7. Okay, so these have all been gapped to 0.7. Now, what I've read is that this is supposed to be 1.1. So maybe these spark plugs with this part number go into different engines, and these aren't gapped to the LPG car. Now, if I'm wrong, by all means comment below, because I do want to get this right. But I'm going to stick with what I've read. Is it right? Is it wrong? No idea. But we will set it to what I've read so that I can sleep well at night. Yeah, so that's now 1.1 there. I'm just going to do all of these and then head back there. I won't make you watch that. Now, when you put these plugs in, they need to be 20 Newton meters, 20. So there's no reason to have them as tight as some of mine were. Maybe some of that had to do with corrosion, but yeah, don't over tighten your plugs, you're going into alloys, so oof, you don't want to strip those threads. That's a bad day. Basically, I'm going to start at the back with the trickiest one. Now I might just put some tissue in here, but yeah, if these are really loose, what will happen is once this is tightened, this will come away and your socket will stay with your spark plug inside your engine. So yeah, putting some paper on these extension joints will make sure that when you pull, this is what comes away and not this or this. Also, some say this isn't necessary these days, but I do like to put just a dab of oil onto the spark plugs, just so that it helps it slide in nice and easy. So here goes. So again, this should slide in nice and easy. For whatever reason it's giving you resistance, double check it, because you don't want to cross thread these plugs, that's for sure. So yeah, that's going in nice and smooth. And there we go, that's bottomed out there. 20 Newton meters, 20. That's it. You see what I mean? This is what I was talking about. You want it to come out together, not like this, because then you'll be fishing this out. Time to put the next one in. So again, a little bit of oil, just a little bit. Spark plug on, just feed it in. And 20 Newton meters. So I'm going to do the rest. Okay, I'm pretty sure I worked out what's wrong with this thing, because it's going in just as hard as it's come out. I reckon it's cross-threaded, and that goes for that rusty one and the one behind it. Anyway, not much I can do about it now. It took me a good hour to put those two in, going slowly, backing out, going back in, backing out, going back in. But I've got them in. If you encounter this problem, you need at least 10 revolutions around the spark plugs for them to bed down to the bottom. So I've got those in now. They're tight, more than 20 Newton meters because they're cross-threaded, but there's nothing I can do about that. Some idiot before me cross-threaded them, and now I'm stuck with an engine with two cross-threaded spark plugs. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully the next spark plug change, those threads don't come out completely. If they do, it's early coil time. Okie dokie, and now that that's done, finally, and not a moment too soon, it is absolutely pitch black out here and freezing. I'm going to finish this thing off, and the next bit obviously will be to put the coils on. I've already opened these and I've put some lithium grease on so that I can slide these in easily, and hopefully these don't get stuck into the head. Just a little bit of lubrication to help the next guy out who will be popping these out. But essentially what needs to happen, this goes in here now, so plug in first like that, and then it just gets pushed into place like that. So I'm going to do the other 5. So interestingly enough, these don't click into place. There's no click, click, click. And I guess that explains why this cover has these little rubber knobs in them. Time to put this back on. Time to put the bolts back in. Now when you tighten these down, these hex bolts, don't go crazy. It's just a cover, you know, just do it finger tight. Let's call it, I don't know, 10 Newton meters. All right, so these are all done. I'm gonna put the cap back on. Now, don't forget to do this fun one back here. Okay, and when you've had fun doing up that rear bolt, it's time to put these back in. We're gonna have to get a new grommet for that. I'm gonna put this pipe back on, intake pipe. And I can see that someone's already mangled this. Hasn't put it on properly, so I'm just gonna be as careful as I possibly can to make sure that this goes on properly this time. I'll take that off for the moment. Alrighty, so the air intake is on. So that's a 7mm, 2 10s. Don't forget to reconnect this little hose. And yeah, last but not least, if you got a little gassy like I do, that goes there. Clamp on, reattach to the rocker cover. That is kind of it. Moment of truth. Let's see if this thing fires up, and most importantly has no misfires. Because if you've got a misfire now, you got to take that off again and check all your connections. All right, baby, let's see what you've got. Look at that. Does it idle okay? Hell yeah, it idles okay. Look at that. Super steady. Nice. Well, this car actually, the starter motor used to turn around 2 or 3 times before it would kick in, and now, as you saw, I'll show it to you again, it fires up immediately. Watch this. Look at that. I reckon 1 rotation of the starter motor and it fired right up. Sweet. Wow, I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like we're good here. Gotta love a garage project. I don't know about you, but I get such satisfaction out of working on my car. Anyway, I'm gonna tidy up here and lock up, and I'll finish up this video in the morning. So here I am on the next day. I'm just going for a little bit of a spin here. I'm making sure that everything's honky-dory, and sure enough, it is. So this has been a success. Like I said earlier, or last night for me, basically the car starts a lot better now, and it seems to idle really well too. So I don't know whether that was a coil going bad or a spark plug, whatever it was, things have definitely improved a bit. So yeah, it's been worth doing it for me. Now, my car wasn't terrible. Honestly, I just did this as a bit of a preventative maintenance, just because the starter motor did take a little while to crank and start. You know, some basic tools will help you get this done. Now, if you want to see what tools you actually need to do this job, well, let me show you. In terms of tools, this is what you're going to need. So obviously, you're going to need your coil packs. I'll leave a link in the description to these. These, I think, are LPG specific coils, but the link I'll leave, the guys who sell these, they sell the NA ones as well. So you're going to need 6 of these for an LPG. You're going to need a torch, a ratchet, and some extensions. You're also going to need a spark plug remover socket, so a 5/8 in the case of these Falcons. You're going to need a 10mm socket and a 7mm socket. You're going to need a 5mm hex socket, and you'll probably need a 5mm Allen key to get to that rear bolt on the rocker cover. You're also going to need a gapper if you need to gap your spark plugs like I did. Then you're going to need a pair of pliers, a pick tool, just to help get the coils out. Get yourself a torque wrench ready. And then I've got a couple of fluids here that I use. I use lithium grease to pull the coils back in so they don't get stuck, and some lubricant to help remove the spark plugs themselves. And last but not least, nitrile gloves. Really good for mechanical work. I sell these. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check them out. I used 1 pair of gloves to do this entire job, and nothing, not a scratch, no grease, nothing. They lasted really well. But anyway, that's kind of it, guys, for this one. Not a difficult one at all. Really give yourself, I don't know, an hour or so to get this done. It took me a little bit longer because I had that problem with the spark plugs themselves. If you do encounter that, I kind of showed you what I did to get around it. You just got to be really careful taking those plugs in and out. Short of helicoiling those threads, there's not much you can do. If someone's cross-threaded your plugs, someone's cross-threaded your plugs, your blocks like that now. So I've got 2 that are like that. I counted the revolutions it took on the threads that were okay to see how long the plugs needed to seat, and that was 10 complete revolutions and then tightening. So with the spark plugs that were threaded, I went in and out, in and out, in and out, and slowly I wound it 10 times and then tightened them down. So yeah, bear that in mind, bear the torque settings in mind for the plugs that are okay, which is 20 Newton meters. All the other bolts and nuts and things like that, you just hand tighten them because they're just covers and, you know, little clips and so on. So that's kind of it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give the video a like. It tells YouTube that I'm doing things right. Also, if you want to see more content on this Ute or any of the other cars that I work on at home in my own garage, then consider subscribing, and yeah, I'll keep making more videos the more subscribers I get. But in any case, this is how you change the plugs and coils on a BA and BF Falcon. And if you've got this problem at home, go ahead and try this on your car. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.